Hi, good afternoon, all. This is Vishal Singhal from Salestat, your host for today. We have Mr. Manjeet Singh from Perth, Australia, our intern at Salestat AI Lab, Global AI Lab. Uh, he is taking us through data sciences and satellite imagery because he's highly passionate about computer vision and exploring some solutions in Perth, I believe, as of today. So, I'll hand over to Manjeet.
Hi, this is Manjeet, and show my screen. Hi guys, this is Manjeet, and today we are going to cover how to use machine learning on satellite images with the help of project in which we had trained masked RCNN model to identify planes in satellite imagery. So this is the broad topics that we are going to cover: application of machine learning on satellite imagery, and last the training, how we can train masked RCNN on to identify planes in satellite images. So let's start with the application of ML on satellite data, how we can divide it them. So detection of small objects over large area is one of the primary drivers of interest in satellite image analytics. The satellite images systems allow easy and effective remote collection of large amount of information about the objects of interest from even inaccessible areas for a long time, making it possible the change detection analysis at different scales over time. Let's look at the particular use cases of artificial intelligence, which further segment into two distinct groups. One level application, in which machine learning techniques are applied straight to satellite imagery. For example, object detection like ships, plane, building, road segment, and change detection, which has numerous applications such as crop, land use, urban infrastructure, environmental, deforestation, water reserve, and multi-level applications built on complex pipeline. When information extracted from satellite imagery is just a set of features in more sophisticated models, also consuming data from non-satellite sources. Example for this is prediction of retailer profit by counting cars on the parking lots, which is only one of many AI application in the retail sectors. As the number of cars on the parking lot is some kind of proxy for retailers' revenue, like more cars, more customer, more revenue. Second example is crop yields and price prediction. Here is the a slide for it, like change detection at the site of interest, object detection, we just talked about building, shape, planes, image segmentation, and resolution enhancement in imagery. Let's look at the properties of satellite images. The resolution of remote sense raster data can be characterized in several different ways. There are four primary types of resolution for rasters: spatial resolutions, spectral, radiometric, and temporal resolution. Let's look in detail what we mean by this. Spatial resolution is the type of resolution most people are familiar with. Spatial resolution refers to the size of the smallest features that can be detected by a satellite sensor or displayed in the satellite image. It is usually reported as the length of one side of single pixel. For example, Landsat 8 has 30-meter spatial resolution. In other words, an image with 30-meter spatial resolution means that a single pixel represents an area on the ground that is 30-meter cross. And the digital globe, with the digital globe, it has a 30 centimeter, means more resolution, more clarity is there with the digital globe sensor. The higher the resolution of the image, the more expensive it is to capture, process, and distribute. Second resolution is the spectral resolution. refer to how many spectral bands an instrument record, or it is refer to the ability of satellite sensor to measure specific wavelengths of the electromagnetic spectrum. The finer the spectral resolution, the narrower the wavelength range for a particular channel or band. Black and white photos contains only one band that cover the visible wavelength. Color images contain three bands. And Landsat 8, the photograph taken by the Landsat 8 has 11 bands, in which 2, 3, 4 are blue, green, and red. Rest of are infrared and near infrared. These kind of bands are there. Radiometric resolution is how finely a satellite or sensor divides up the radiance it receives in each band. The greater the radiometric resolution, the greater the range of intensities of radiation the sensor is able to distinguish and record. Radiometric resolution is typically expressed as the number of bits for each band. Traditionally, 8-bit data was common in the remote sensors data. Newer sensors like Landsat 8 have 16-bit data products. And here we can distinguish the quality of the image. If it's 1-bit resolution, look at the quality, 2-bit resolution, and with the 8-bit, the clarity is more. Temporal resolution or remote sense data represent a snapshot in time. Is the time between two subsequent data acquisition for an area. This is also known as the return time or revisit time of the satellite or whatever the instrument we are taking with the taking a satellite imagery. Like we can use aircraft. There is one website, Nearmap in Australia, which developed in Australia. They use airplane instead of the satellite to take the photos of Earth, and we can also take images from the unmanned aircraft system. And the return time depends upon from where what sort of instrument we are using to take the images. Like for satellite, it can be same day or it can be a 16 after 16 days. With plane, depending upon the requirement, and with the unmanned aircraft system, it can be twice in a day or 3 times a day. So these are some of the type of resolution we can achieve from the satellite imagery. And one thing before we talk about the project is, in satellite imagery, when I was doing the research on the project, the one main thing is the DL or machine learning fit in the very small part when we have the fine image and we can process over it. But the pipeline to get the images from the satellite is very big, and to split the images to process them take a larger amount and time in it. And in this project, or today, we are just focusing on if we have a final image and how to identify a plane or ship in the image. So the project that I completed today, where I trained the Mask RCNN to identify the planes. If we provide the input of satellite image which contain multiple airplane in this one, the output will be the detection of planes. This sample database is taken from the Kaggle website, and all the information related to the from where you have to download the data and how to process this is on the GitHub, which after completion I will share you the link of it. So before that, going into how to use the Mask RCNN, how to train it. So let's look into what is semantic segmentation. Generally, object detection build a bounding box corresponding to each class in the image. But It tells us nothing about the shape of the object. We only get the set of bounding box coordinates. On the other hand, image segmentation, which mask RCNN does, create a pixel-wise mask for each object in the image. This technique gives us a far more granular understanding of the object in the image. We can further divide image segmentation technique into two types. Consider these images. Both the images are using image segmentation to identify and locate the buildings. In image 1, every pixel belongs to a particular class. Let's say in this one, this is building and this is the background. All the pixels belong to particular class are represented by the same color. This is an example of semantic segmentation. In image B, has also assigned a particular class to each pixel of the image. However, the different object of the same class have different colors. This is an example of instant segmentation. This is building, but within a different colors. So let's look into the architect of mask RCNN. Mask RCNN extend faster RCNN by adding a branch for predicting an object mask in parallel with the existing branch for bounding box recognition. There are two stages for mask RCNN. First, it generates proposal about the region where there might be an object based on input image. Stage 2, it predicts the class of the object, refines the bounding box, and generates a mask in pixel level of the object based on the first proposal. Both, both stages are connected to the backbone structure. This is a standard convolutional neural network, typically ResNet 50 or ResNet 101, that serve as a feature extractor. The earlier layer detect low-level features like edges and corner, and later layers successfully detect higher-level features, car, person, sky. Passing through the backbone network, the image is converted from 1024 into 1024 into 3 to the feature map of the shape 32 by 32 by 2048. This feature map becomes the input for the following stages. The region propositional network is a lightweight neural network that scans the image in sliding window fashion and find areas that contain objects. The region that the RPN scans over are called anchors. Anchor, Anchors are set of boxes with predefined location and scale relative to images, which are boxes distributed over the image area. This is a simplified view, though. In practice, there are about 200K anchors of different sizes and aspect ratio, and they overlap to cover as much of the image as possible. The region proposal network generates two outputs for each anchor class, and bounding box refinement. Anchor class, one or two classes, foreground or background. The foreground class implies that there is likely an object in that box. Bounding box refinement, a foreground anchor might not be centered perfectly over the object, so the region propositional network estimate a percentage change in the bounding box to refine the anchor box to fit the object better. Using the regional proposal network prediction, we pick the top anchors that are likely to contain an object and refine their location and size. If several anchors overlap too much, we keep the one with the highest foreground score and discard the rest. After that, we have a final proposal, region of interest, that we pass to the next stage. This stage runs on the region of interest proposed by the region proposal network, and just like region proposal network, it generates two outputs for each region of interest, class and bounding box refinement. The class of the object in the ROI unlike the RPN, which has two classes, foreground and background. This network is deeper and has the capacity to classify region to specific classes, person, car, chair, etc. It can also generate a background class, which cause the ROI to be discarded. Bounding box refinement very similar to how it's done in the RPN, and its purpose is to further refine the location and size of the bounding box to encapsulate the object. Last is the segmentation mask. The mask branch is a convolutional network that take the positive region where we identified the object, selected by the ROI classifier and generate mask for them. The generated masks are low resolution 28 by 28 pixel, but they are soft masks represented by a float number, so they can hold more details than binary mask. The small mask size help keep the mask branch light. During training, we scale down the ground truth mask to 28 by 28 to compute the loss, and during inferencing, we scale up the predicted mask to the size of the ORI bounding box, and that give us the final mask, one per object. So that was the brief introduction about the mask RCNN. And let's look at the example training data that we have used to train mask RCNN. In this example, the type of annotation used is Pascal VOC. There is no single standard format for annotation. Other type of annotations is COCO or YOLO. Data labeling is an essential step in a supervised learning, machine learning task. It is simply the process of labeling or annotation making the object of interest detectable or recognized while feeding into the algorithm. And there are various techniques that and types of data labeling done as per the requirement of the object. Like in this one, this is the bounding box we have created, and we got in the end x minimum, y minimum, x max, and y max. There are tools or online we can do all this annotation. And training, in this we will learn how to train the mask RCNN. Loading the data set. I have all told you can download the data set from the Kaggle, and here is the GitHub from where you can know all the information which is required to run this example. You can download your data from this link repository that you have to clone, and to make this example, what I did, there is a lots of sample provided with in this repository. I've taken the COCO sample and modified it to detect the plane in it. Let's go through the code, how to do that. I created one class, plain data set, and then the first function that we need to override is load data. In data set, there are two folders, train and test. In train and test, we have photographs with the annotation file which is extension is .xml, whose extension is .xml, and we are going through the directory and reading all the files, extracting only looking for the .png. The file format, photograph file format is PNG, so we are extracting that extension and loading into a data set. After that, we have to load the second function that we have to modify is load mask. Here we are taking all the loaded files, images, and extracting bounding box from the annotation file. As we are using the XML file, we are taking the element from the XML get root, and the element that we are interested is BND box. We are getting x minimum, y minimum, x max, y max, these coordinates, x minimum, y minimum, y max, y max, and size of the image, height and width of the image, and passing it to the load mask. And this function is just returning the path of the image. To train the mask CNN, we can use python.plain, the file here, the python.plain.py. And to resume the training, to resume the training, we can use model equal to last. The training of the model started with the COCO means we are using the pre-trained models, model weights with the COCO, and using a transfer learning to train our model with the plain satellites images. And but I cannot show you the coding right now, training here, because the system where I trained this is different, the Linux one, and this is the window where we are doing the presentation. I did 100 trained for the 100 ECOP, and the loss is reduced here to and I stopped here. After that, I was the model was able to identify the plane very clearly, as I shown in the previous slides. So this is how we can train our satellite imagery. It's very brief one, but yeah, you can have the working download working code from this link, which I'm going to share right now after this. Any question about it?
That was pretty fast, Manjeet.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I think questions are coming. Could you explain briefly the pipelines involved and what is the format of data in real use cases?
Okay, so when I was inquiring, reading about the satellite, one image can be of 1 GB in actual. Um, but what Google and AWS did, Google Collaborative, they had provided an API from where we can send, okay, we need these coordinates of images. They are doing most of the process of image slicing. And like I said, in satellite imaging, there was 11 bands. We cannot use 11 band in deep learning. We have to identify which with band I mean color, RGB we are using, or the black and white image that we are going to use. So there are third parties like Google and AWS where the API with the help of API we can download the image, and then on that we can run our machine learning or deep learning model to identify the images. Like the one that we have used right now, it is provided by the Kaggle, but in practical you cannot have this image directly. You have to get it from the third party, and you have to slice that image in multiple parts to to get into this point. So that pipeline is so big, we cannot definitely cannot cover here. So just I avoided and focused on the identifying, which is a plane, identifying only the planes here, only the object. And object, these object can be anything, plane, ship, and how you trained your model. Anything else?
Okay, another one is need pointers how to accurately detect color of objects inside images. Are we defining colors here?
No, no, no. The colors, okay. Colors is all these colors. suppose these colors are provided by the mask RCN, the model that we have used. For every defined object, they are the internally the model is giving a color to it. We have in the code we have to do nothing in it.
Okay. Another one is, could you give links to resources to understand the pipeline?
Sure, what I'll do right now, I'll share you the GitHub, and later on, I will add the links in that README file.
Sure. And also how to handle cases where images is blurred or has poor lighting.
So that we need to work. Suppose in the vision, what I realized that if the images are not good, you are not going to have a good prediction. So the pipeline or whatever you have to check before what you are feeding into your machine learning system. So something correction has to be there before we are doing the analysis on it. So maybe you need to work on the resource from where you're getting it, internal, or maybe you have to apply some OpenCVV where we can reduce the noise in it, filter before sending it to the model.
Okay. And people are asking your GitHub link if you can share. Is it on your slide?
Not on slide, and what I'm going to do, I just put it on the meetup, or you want me to put it on a slide?
If you put it here, I'll share it with the audience.
All right, Vishal, how can you
Just
copy
put it
my?
on chat. Put it on chat.
All right, okay.
I've sent you a message. You can. Okay.
Yeah, I already did that.
Okay.
So I tested it, run it. If you face any problem in setup, just let me know. I'll help you out because the setup is the most difficult part as compared to developing an application.
Right. Okay. So, audience, I have shared the GitHub profile he shared with me, and another gentleman is asking, can you share thoughts how to recognize vegetation classes? For example, I want to use for the plantations. Would you have idea on that?
I read about it, but right now I don't know how to do it because it is different from what we have covered today.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to use the UNet on it, not the mask RCNet. There is another network, UNet, where you can compare two images and the changes.
So I'm sharing a question for your better understanding on chat.
Yeah,
So because it's slightly lengthy. So question for audience is, in training data set, if images range across different file size, KB to MB, and different image resolutions, example WhatsApp compressed images versus iPhone high-res images, what are the best practices to handle such variety during the training?
look, as I use the mask RCNN model, internally it is handling all the um, image format. Suppose if we are giving a different size format, 800 by 1200 or 400 by 600, internally it is converting and handling it. But before I did the vision face recognition also, what they do before sending it to, suppose you have 1200 by 800 or 800 by 400, we need to convert into a specific resolution. Suppose the face in face recognition, there was a requirement you need to send it by 600 by 400 image. With the help of OpenCVV, you have to convert that. Obviously, the compressed image is not of, I can say, of a good quality, or depending upon the quality, the output is going to be a very different in that. But yeah, some model want you to convert your input images into particular resolution. But in this case, mask RCNN, internally this model is handling different size of resolution.
Okay, another question is, have you tried other segmentation algorithms like UNet as well?
No, UNet I have not tried, but I can later on. I have to practice that one.
Okay.
Any particular requirement later on, maybe I can try that and share it on the GitHub. Particular use case. Because when I was doing this, the difficulty was to identify what to cover in it. In satellite imagery, with face recognition, okay, you need to do it on the face, maybe video or static images. But with this satellite, what you need to do, identifying a project is very difficult. If you have something with the UNet, I try to cover that. Any idea?
So no other questions or comments are coming. Yeah. So what are the normal resolutions that are used in satellite imagery?
Uh, the images provided are actual images are provided in the GBs, but we need to slice them. There are um, you can take it's 3 to 4 MB one, and this one was 1200 by 800 what they have provided, I think, in the Kaggle, but we can check it later on.
I
Again,
think
depends.
another gentleman extended the question by asking multispectral image projects.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
So earlier question was, what are the normal resolutions that are used in satellite imagery? I think
Yeah,
it
yeah.
has been extended by another gentleman saying multispectral image projects.
Multispectrum, multi-resolution projects you're talking about. The infrared or like this?
Possibly. So question is not very clear here. So any other questions, audience? Any public data sets that we can try on?
Yes, I provided one sample file, but before training, if you don't want to train, there is a pre-trained weight that I got it after the training. You can download, and you can the images you can download from the Kaggle. That's the public one. You can use it, or maybe something from the Google you can download. Okay, where the planes are there. But I want to clarify one thing, because this is trained on one particular set of images. So maybe if you download something from the Google, the prediction may not be as good as it's showing here, because it can be of a different, the planes can be of different resolution. So then in that case, we need to train this model on that kind of images also.
Okay. So
Yeah.
another one is asking, can we use these images to identify the forest fires? I think these are more trained for planes, I believe. Am I
Forest
correct?
setting. Sorry,
Forest
forest.
fires.
Yeah, again, it's depend upon the kind of data you have, the kind of free data that is available on the networks of the plane, but you cannot use that one. But if you have a data set where you can clearly annotate fires and fed it into the model to get it trained, then you can do it. The point is how to get that data and uh, annotate them. Definitely anything is possible, but the how you are going to generate that data. The next,
Right.
suppose the next one is the next project that I'm doing is the license plate. So there are license plate detection and getting a number from it. There are few data which is available, but after training that I realized it is not able to recognize the Western Australian plate. So right now I am collecting data for the Western Australian license plate by clicking myself and ask some few friends to provide me some of the images later on which I am going to annotate. So if you are able to get images with the fire and you are able to annotate, yes, you can train your system to identify this.
Okay. Uh, Another question is, do NASA or ISRO provide data sets?
There are few, I'm not aware about the ISRO, but yeah, there are other uh, free data set is available on the net, like Landsat is one, MODI is one, MODI is one, and few more high resolution data set is available on it. But images are available, satellite images are available, not like the annotation. With the annotation, it's not available.
Hmm.
And the problem with the Google is you don't have a time on it. Uh, you can use the Google images, but they in Google they never tell you about when this image was taken. But with the suppose the professional Landsat, there is always this image was taken yesterday or 10 days ago or 1 month ago. So you can identify the changes what has happened in the meantime. But for
I
training,
sent you another question. Question is, what is the approach to be taken to find the temporal changes in satellite images?
yes, I also try to cover that. But in that case, you don't need machine learning or deep learning. You can compare two images with the OpenCVV. I also try to okay how to do that, but I realized later on, suppose the two images give right now what is going on the border. If you want to identify the changes, you can compare two images with the OpenCV. You don't need machine learning or deep learning in it. Very simple API is provided there on it. Anything else, Vishal?
Any other questions, audience?
I know this one is the fast one, but instead of going into math, the more practical is to give you the code and explain how I used it.
Yeah, it was good, very concise and very precise. It was good. So I think we have a lot of time for questions, but people have run out of questions, I think.
Hmm.
One more is coming, it seems. Yeah, are you talking about background subtraction, similarity, distances, and similar functions?
Yes, something similar to that. Yeah. Right now, I don't remember the exact because when I was doing it, change detection is one of the thing. But I realized to if we have a similar images and we have to identify the change, we don't need a deep learning. We can do it with the simple OpenCVV API or something. But as but in the forest, suppose someone asks, okay, how to identify the changes in the forest or something. In that case, we need a deep learning, but different model, not mask RCNN. UNet is required. I have not worked on it, so can't comment on it. How can we use the UNet to identify the changes?
Sure, I think no more questions are coming. So thanks for giving this webinar, Manjeet.
Thank you,
And
guys.
it would be great if you can share your insights from your projects that you are doing or trying to do.
Oh,
Uh,
sure.
Another one has come. I would take it as last. So, do you know how the network learning differs in mask, RCNN, and UNet?
Totally different criteria they have used. Don't have an answer to it, but they are totally different network. Um, I don't have it right now. I cannot explain it. But when I was reading, it's totally different. You cannot. Yeah. Sorry, I don't have the answer for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, uh, people are appreciating crisp and pointed session. Thanks, Manjeet. Thank you for sharing all the information,
Thank
and
you, guys.
thanks a lot for all the answers.
Ah,
Enjoyed the
thank
talk.
you. Bye.
So, thank you all, and have a good day and be safe.